In today's news, the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force lists the BVI's 8 most wanted persons and the late Cyril Lewis Walters to lie in state at the Seacoast Bay Methodist Church, and Premier disappointed with the conditions of the roads in the east, and government taking its time with forming Gaming and Betting Commission. But viewers, these and more stories when 284 News return.
Yo, everything good, Dad?
Aye. This thing got me one way, Daddy.
What do you mean?
Ever since I hook up with this thing, can't eat, I can't sleep. This is the first thing I touch it when I reach home.
What do you really? Hey, this ain't like you know.
Dad, this thing got me staying home, keeping out of trouble me.
Wow. What your name is?
Shit. I talking about my CCT life.
Don't worry about missing your favorite series, sports, news, and local programming. Come to CCT today and sign up for CCT Live to access over 80 channels. CCT Live. Bring it home.
1 month free trial turn into 5. 5 months turn into, well, you know I huff. I watching ball. I been watching football. Dad, Nickelodeon, Paw Patrol. I am hooked. Hook, I tell you.
Welcome viewers to the Tuesday, September 27th edition of 284 News. I am Kamal Haynes, bringing you the latest out of the British Virgin Islands. I want to thank you guys so much for joining us. We start today's newscast with a list of the most wanted persons in the territory, where the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force has issued a list consisting of the British Virgin Islands' 8 most wanted persons. Well, according to the police, the list includes persons either on an arrest warrant or wanted for questioning for murder, attempted murder, drug trafficking, or illegal firearm possession. Well, viewers, they are Eric Rabsat, Shumori Colwood, Kadeem Hodge, Oseni Fret, Tyrell Samuel, Jashid Scatliff, Kevin Tyson, and Daniel S. Carrier. Well, the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force is asking persons to contact them with information on the whereabouts of any of the listed individuals, where they have assured that all information and the source of such information will be held in the strictest of confidence. Now moving on, viewers, where the late Cyril Lewis Walters, MBE, will lie in state on Thursday, September 29th at the Seacoast Bay Methodist Church. With this after the motion was passed in the House of Assembly this morning to allow Walters, a former Deputy Chief Minister, a former Acting Chief Minister, a former Education and Health and Welfare Minister, and a former 8th District Representative to be laid in state following his significant contribution to the territory. Walters was first elected in 1986 as a member of the Legislative Council, and he served until 1994.
Whereas the late Honorable Cyril Lewis Walters, MBE, was first elected to this Honorable House in November 1986 as member for the 8th District, East End, Greenland, and Hope Estate, and served as its elected representative until 1994, during which time he served as Minister for Education, Health and Welfare, and also had the privilege to act as Chief Minister in the absence of the late H. Lafferty Stout on many occasions. Whereas the late Honorable Cyril Lewis Walters, MBE, was originally from the sister island of Virgin Gorda and made a significant impact on the education sector in the territory by teaching for 34 years in many schools throughout the Virgin Islands. Whereas after serving in several schools in the Virgin Islands as head teacher, including Jas Van Dyke, in 1975 the late Honorable Cyril Lewis Walters, MBE, became an administrative officer in the then Chief Minister's office and rose to the rank of Permanent Secretary before becoming a member of the then Legislative Council. Whereas the late Honorable Cyril Lewis Walters, MBE, was awarded member of the Order of the British Empire in 1986 for his contributions to the public service. And whereas the late Honorable Cyril Lewis Walters, MBE, died on the 13th day of September 2022, and we buried on the 30th day of September 2022. Now therefore be it resolved that the House of Assembly of the Virgin Islands hereby approves that the late Honorable Cyril Lewis Walters, MBE, in honor of his many contributions and exemplary service in the territory, will lie in state on the 29th day of September 2022 at the Seacows Bay Methodist Church, Seacows Bay, Tortola.
While Premier Wheatley also sought to explain the purpose for having the motion passed, which he said will allow the Seacows Bay Methodist Church to be officially recognized as an institution of the state.
But of course, in keeping in good parliamentary practice and to ensure that we do things in a legal manner, it was necessary for us to bring this resolution to ensure that the Methodist Church, which is not a parliament, that we brought this resolution to make sure that we designated that event and that place as an official institution of state, so to speak, through this resolution. So indeed, while he'll be lying in the Seacows Bay Methodist Church, that he will indeed be lying in state as someone who's a former Deputy Chief Minister, former Minister of Education, a former legislator, and therefore due an official funeral, which we all support, I am sure.
Well, viewers, the late Walters died on September 13, 2022, and will be buried on Friday, September 30th. Well, up next, Premier disappointed with the condition of the roads in the east. He vows to have them repaired, and the government taking its time with forming Gaming and Betting Commission. But these and more stories when 284 News return.
You value traditions. Today. You value music. You value education. Family.
I love you.
Service.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Love. Life. At Popular, we're committed to you and everything our community values. For the things you value the most, count on us. Popular.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
Hello?
Wait, you had a lunch and care? You don't say you were sick? What happened to our wedding rehearsal?
No, babe. I'm actually watching the news right now. Take a listen.
Topping our newscast today, UFOs seen around Tortola Pier Park.
And District 3 residents outraged over no water supply. They simply cannot bathe. These and more stories when 284 News returns. Alright, babe, just get some rest, take 2 Advil, and I'll see you later. Bye!
Okay, honey, I see you later. I love you.
It's clear to see that Coconut Lounge is a place to be, the coolest cocktail lounge in the British Virgin Islands. A lounge like no other, with welcoming, professional service, and a breathtaking ambiance. Not forgetting a diverse selection of wines, beers, and signature cocktails. Cozy, comfortable, contemporary. Coconut Lounge at Tortola Pier Park. Visit us today.
Well, welcome back, viewers. Well, Premier Dr. the Honorable Natalia Wheatley has expressed that he is disappointed with the current conditions of the roadways in the East End Longlock communities and has vowed to have them repaired. Well, the Premier made a promise at a recent media conference after a question was raised on the current poor state of the roads in the eastern end of Tortola.
In the eastern end, just to say, I too am very displeased with the state of the roads there. It's completely unacceptable in my view. And I plan to solve it. I plan to get it fixed, and that's something you can hold me to.
Well, Premier Wheatley also said that the ongoing works on the storage system in the East and Longlock communities have impacted the ability to have the roadways repaired right away. He said this is due to the extent of the works being conducted, which involves digging up several roadways to allow for the installation of systems to households.
Apparently there's a broken pipe under the road that's basically destroying the road. And so I expect for that to be rectified once they get that pipe fixed and they'll resurface the road. But more generally, of course, you know, in the Eastern Fairfax Bay area, we have sewage work taking place. They were doing some work with the manholes, etc. You're going to be having lots of other work being done to hook up homes to the gravity lines that will take you down to the pumping station. That will then take the sewage onto Paraquita Bay.
Well, the leader of government business also expressed that he was not pleased with the manner in which the sewage work is taking place. Well, he said he will seek to have his concerns addressed.
I haven't been completely pleased with how the work has been done there and in terms of the states of the road and how they're conducting the work. I would like to see some improvement there. I'm going to communicate that to the team who's been doing the work there.
Moving on, viewers, where Premier and Minister of Finance Dr. the Honorable Natalia Wheatley has said that his government will be taking its time with the forming of the Virgin Islands Gaming and Betting Control Commission. But the Premier's comments on the subject follow a recent notice sent out by his office that warned casino and gaming operators in the territory to cease such activities. Well, the notice said, and I quote, "Well, any person operating any casino, gaming and or betting operations within the British Virgin Islands is reminded that pursuant to Section 29 of the Virgin Islands Gaming and Betting Control Act 2020, a person shall not participate in any aspect of the gaming and betting sectors without first acquiring the necessary license from the Gaming and Betting Control the Betting Control Commission." Well, it added, and I quote, "Well, based on the VI Gaming Act, any person undertaking gaming and or betting operations or providing facilities of any kind for betting or gaming without a license commits an offense. Well, therefore, any person operating any casino, gaming and or betting operations is asked to cease such operations immediately until such time as the Commission is in effect and grants the requisite license to so operate," end quote. Well, viewers, the notice prompted local media to press Premier Wheatley for an update on the status of the commission.
The commission hasn't been formed as yet. It's something that we're taking a look at. We haven't decided to move too quickly with it. It's something I want to take a good look at before we move forward with it.
Well, Dr. Wheatley also expressed that he is of the belief that there is illegal gambling taking place in the territory, adding that he had no concrete evidence to support his belief.
In terms of whether persons are gambling, I'm pretty sure persons gamble in the territory. I don't have any specific knowledge of it or participation in it, I should say. But I'm pretty sure I've heard that people tend to gamble in the territory. So perhaps maybe that's why the notice has gone out.
Well, viewers, the Virgin Islands Gaming and Betting Control Act 2020 was officially published in the government's Gazette and became law on July 9th, 2021. But the government had initially projected estimated earnings of $5.7 million in gaming revenues for the 2022 fiscal year, a figure that may now be well out of reach since the commission is yet to be established. Well, in March 2022, the government sent out a request inviting qualified, professional, and experienced persons, resourceful firms, to submit proposals to provide consultancy services for the Virgin Islands Gaming and Betting Control Commission. Well, the intended purpose for the consultancy services, as put by the government, is to, and I quote, "develop procedures applicable to the operations of the Commission, develop regulations for governing the operations of gaming activities in the Virgin Islands, and to provide general consulting services to assist the Commission in complying with its duty to regulate and oversee the Virgin Islands gaming and betting industry," end quote. Well, viewers, up next, Premier hoping to create a more tourism-led economy. He transfers culture and festival affairs to his office. And Larry A. Griner, a caregiver of a dementia patient, shares a story with VI community. We get to those two stories after a word from our sponsors.
There's a reason you get up on a morning. A reason you pick yourself up, start the day. Maybe it's sheer grit. Maybe it's your ethics. Maybe it's because you know people like you are waiting for people just like you. We all have our reasons, and for Republic Bank, that reason is you. Every little thing, every big thing. It's all about making a difference in your life. Because after 182 years, if it's one thing we're sure about, is that the difference is you. We're here to help.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Brilliant Hands and Minds tutoring services, one-on-one tutorials in math and English, intense homework assistance, academic enrichment, school projects, effective communication and public speaking development, sign language for adults and children on Saturdays only. Registered with the Virgin Islands High School Certificate Program, Brilliant Hands and Minds can help you too. Offering intense curriculum-based training to help you or your loved ones get their high school diploma. It's time to make your family's education a #1 priority. Hurry, space is limited. Brilliant Hands and Minds Learning Center. We are the trained education professionals.
The wait is over! CCT Fire is here! Experience ultra-fast downloads, seamless streaming, and even more reliable connectivity on an all-new fire-blazing super-fast CCT Fiber network. CCT Fire, bring it home and upgrade today.
Well, welcome back, viewers. Well, Premier Dr. the Honorable Natalia Wheatley has indicated his intentions to create a more tourism-led economy in the British Virgin Islands as he announced the transfer of the Culture and Festival Affairs portfolios to the Premier's office. But as such, Premier Wheatley says that discussions have already begun with the new chair of the BVI Tourist Board on how this can be accomplished within the next 2 years.
The Government of National Unity wants to see the tourism industry thrive in the territory and for the economy to be more tourism-led in the future. We are taking certain steps to make this happen. First, as Tourism Minister, I will be discussing with the new chair of the BVI Tourist Board the importance of a short-term plan to guide the growth and development of the sector over the next 2 years, while a tourism master plan is developed to take our tourism product to the next level. In the meantime, we are working diligently to make improvements in areas such as airlift, as well as enhancing the tourism product. As a first step, the culture portfolio has been transferred to the Premier's office, where it will be integrated with the tourism portfolio. This is the approach many countries have taken who see culture as an integral part of their tourism product.
Well, in the interim, the Premier said that other steps are being taken to better align the territory to realize this new vision, including the transfer of 2 relevant portfolios to the Premier's office, where they can be better integrated with the tourism portfolio.
For us here in the Virgin Islands, this will include ensuring our museums and historical sites are properly managed and promoted as tourist attractions, and that the full artistic talent of our people can serve as valuable entertainment to visitors and our own domestic tourism market. The Festival and Fairs portfolio has also been transferred to the Premier's office, and the Tourist Board will have much more involvement in the planning and marketing of not only our Emancipation Festival, but all our festivals and fairs year-round.
Well, Dr. Wheatley said that his government is also working closely with the relevant stakeholders to enhance transport options, including airlift, which are necessary for the tourism industry.
In terms of airlift, discussions are ongoing with a number of carriers regarding flight access to the mainland U.S. Things are looking very promising, and we'll update on progress in due course. We also continue to examine the best means by which to expand the runway at the Terence B. Lettsome International Airport and to attract new hotel developments to the BVI. Announcements on progress in these areas will be made in due course.
Well, moving on to our final story, viewers, where the VI Alzheimer's Association has been observing World Alzheimer's Month for the month of September. Well, despite the month of observation coming to an end, the awareness of Alzheimer's and related illnesses are still imperative. Recently, 284's Ron Grant sat down with Larry A. Griner, an American who shared his story of caring for his mother, who recently passed away and lived with dementia.
Well, at that point in time, I was still back on the East Coast living in New Jersey. And when I would come home to visit, you kind of saw the same things in my mom. My mom sort of regressed back from the original activities she was involved in. She was actually playing solitaire hours upon the day. And at that point in time, she was also living by herself. I think the one thing that, in order for you to really know what your loved one is or how they're changing, you really have to observe it on a consistent basis. Those diagnoses actually came way before my brother and myself were even aware of it. She had had some doctor's visits that she was diagnosed, but she did not pass on to us. We actually knew after an accident she had had at home that her care would now need assistance from that point going on. But then we started to see the emotional changes and the mental capabilities she could not control on her own, that we recognized somebody had to be in the house basically 24/7. So my brother physically moved back into the house we grew up in and cared for my mom when he was not at work. We did have a caregiver that came in and helped mom during the course of the day. And she was an extreme blessing to our family and still is to this day because what she did with and for my mom. But eventually, as it progressed, we recognized that we needed to do a little bit more. I recognized I had to do something for my brother who was giving of himself with the limited amount of time he had to give back to my mom. So I packed all my things and put it into storage locker in Southern California and moved back home to Baltimore to move back into the house. Not to just come home and babysit my mom, but to be a part of my mom's life, to give her opportunities to get out and about, to interact with others, to go to a park that was local to us and enjoy the outdoors. And I recognized those interactions and a different scenery for her really helped her enjoy life a lot more.
Well, viewers, the focus for this year's observation for the VI Alzheimer's Association was non-medical therapeutic methods of caring for patients with dementia. Well, Larry spoke about the power of music in this instance for his family.
Well, it started, I actually took over for my brother. My brother Howard had been caring for my mom for about 4 years on his own. And I was not really aware of everything he was going through since I was in California and my brother was back on the East Coast in Maryland. But eventually it did break him. It broke him because it's time consuming. You know, he still had his job, his family, but had to move back into our home because our goal was to keep our mom in her home. During those initial stages of her diagnosis, we didn't know what to expect. And I don't think any care partner or caregiver knows what to expect until they're involved in it. You kind of find what works for you. And when I came home to relieve my brother, 2013, it was a short leave of absence I had from my job, which I was lucky to get away to help him. And in short term, I recognized the challenges that we all go through. When I say we, that means basically all care partners and all caregivers. Recognizing the patience you thought you have, you lose. The frustrations you go through, and just basically the tough times of seeing your loved one go through what they're going through. I eventually adapted to it to understand what was going on, blaming it on the disease and not my mom. But it still takes a toll. It takes a toll on the care partner. I was lucky to be able to, at some point, find what mom really enjoyed, and that was music. She grew up performing music, and of course everybody's enjoyed music through their lives, but mom was a little bit different in that she performed through most of her life. And I found a niche that I could basically play some classical music, which she loved, and then she took to it like I never expected to see. Wow. And eventually it turned into something completely overwhelming.
A Griner also brought awareness of the difference between a caregiver and a care partner.
I think the care partner terminology has started to evolve. I'm working with a very formed group in the United States with Teepa Snow, and they're directing me in certain ways to recognize that care partnering is working with your loved one. It's for individuals that can still do certain things for themselves, dress themselves, feed themselves, bathe themselves, those things. Caregiving is when they've lost those capabilities to do for themselves. So you're basically giving care to your loved one. It's great that you can care partner with somebody because you're giving them still some independence. And as long as you can keep that independence, it is a help on the care partner to continue giving, additional care that they don't have to depend on doing everything for them. Unfortunately, with the disease, and because it does affect everybody differently in certain ways, eventually becomes caregiving because there are certain parts of taking care of oneself that our loved one cannot do for themselves. So that's being a caregiver and doing something to them to help them be a better them at that point. How can I say that? But that's the biggest difference. And I recognize in my early stages with Mom, she was still capable of dressing herself, bathing herself in those situations. But as she started to progress within the disease, you start to having to do more for her. And that's the biggest difference right now between those two titles that we have.
Well, viewers, for the full interview with Larry Griner, visit all 284 media platforms. Well, that's it for today's news roundup. Be sure to follow us for daily news updates at 284media.com and like us on Facebook at 284media and 284BVI on Instagram and Twitter. I'm Kamal Haynes, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a safe and enjoyable evening. Bye-bye.
Is business slow, cash flow down, hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
The beautiful Virgin Islands, or nature's little secret as some prefer, where the weather stays warm and the drinks stay cold, where men in wigs get their lawyer bills paid by governments and governments lose planes, where walls are built and prisoners escape. You vacation where we suffer. BVI love.
A show poised to help guide modern-day men into 21st century distinguished gentlemen. It doesn't always involve suits and, bow ties, but raw, real-life lessons that translate to grounded, community-minded, well-rounded men. This season, I'm taking you on an entirely different journey, from chefs to dancers, philanthropists, communications specialists, and much more. I'm heading outside in the field to share the journey of some of the BVI's best and brightest men. From East End to West End, Bojangara, Jackson Lake, not forgetting Antigata. Our Virgin Islands gentlemen are doing the damn thing, and I'm so proud. Get ready to reason, reflect, and redirect. We are the movers and shakers of this generation, and we ain't afraid to show it. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, Season 3 by yours truly, Ron Grant, raising a generation of greatness.
Father Jesus, that line here long like church service.
Alright, do enjoy the rest of the day. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come, yes, Sonny.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Hold on. You must have cut fun topic.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man to take care of me.
How may I assist you?
Yes.